What'd that lady say to me when we were coming back from lunch and she rolled her window down of her beautiful beat-up Ford Taurus white from 1997?
Whoa, I had a Ford Taurus.
LMFAO. Is that you?
Yo, is that you, LMFAO?
Party rock, party rock.
Party rock is in the house tonight. Everybody's gonna feel alright. We're gonna break up our group just as we're the biggest in the world because we can't get along and put music out into the world.
Wasn't it like an uncle and his nephew or something?
Motown.
Is that what it was?
Well, Berry Gordy's nephew.
Yeah.
And then
Son, I think.
Oh, Berry Gordy's son, and then it's his cousin. It was Blue Sky or
Something like
whatever.
That. Yeah. Relatives.
Do you still get the LMFAO reference a lot?
Yeah, I still get it.
I remember you met him backstage that one time.
I did.
You guys for a picture.
He smelled.
He just performed.
Smelled.
No.
This is prior to
He didn't
performance?
smell fresh performance. Like he smelled like I've sweat in these clothes for the last 2 months, and this is what it smells like.
It smells good.
That's what it was.
I want an air freshener of that.
Exactly. All right, let's get started.
Let's do it.
All right. Jared Poland, FronosPhoto.com. Welcome to RAWtalk episode number 145. We're going to call it the HDR hour.
Ooh.
Not really call them the HDR hour. The reason I'm bringing that up is because we have a guest by the name of Trey Ratcliff who came in for an interview.
He does HDR?
He does HDR.
Is he related to Daniel?
I don't think he's related to Daniel.
It's his nephew, Harry Potter.
I don't think so. But he's here in Philadelphia because he's doing a tour on a tour bus around the United States. And so he's going to talk about that tour, and it's going to be coming to a city near you, possibly, maybe, kind of, if you're in the United States,
Probably.
near one of those cities that he's going to be doing it. But we've never met. Well, actually, we did meet a long time ago, and I'll talk about that in the episode. But we've never formally had a discussion before. And so this was a really great opportunity to sit down and talk to him because he was coming to Philly.
Yeah.
And like we said, we love doing interviews in person.
Philly's the first stop, too, on his tour, right?
New York was last night.
New York was, okay.
Right, so they do New York, then Philly.
Gotcha.
And so, yeah, I mean, to sit here and chew his brain, he's been doing this longer, the internet game longer than I have.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have your contemporary sitting here and having a discussion and talking about all of these different things and bringing up the fact that I didn't like certain parts of HDR. And whatever. I mean, it is what it is. It's a really cool discussion, so that's coming up a little later, but we need to jump into a Pluggy McPluggerson. It's Rhodes Week.
Ooh.
I had to read this like 5 times to get verification to see if this was legitimately true, and I read it, and they sent it to me, so I think that it's true.
What's true?
What it says right here on this paper.
What does it
about
say?
Rode Microphone. In addition to the exclusive 2015 My Rode Reel Director T-shirt that every participating filmmaker will receive. So I guess they're giving everybody who participated a
In that
T-shirt.
contest, wow.
So
That's a lie.
I don't know if
That's
it's
a lie.
I don't know if it's a lie, but that was a lot of people.
That's
but
a lot of people.
It gets better. We've also decided to give them a yet to be announced super secret microphone.
Ooh. Best microphone ever?
This is Rode's way of thanking each and every filmmaker that took part in My Rode Reel and to help them improve the audio of their productions. The mic will be announced later this month and will be with the entrance in September.
That's really cool.
So how about that? You enter a contest for free at myrodereel.com. You entered for free. Didn't cost you anything. You had a chance to win over $200,000 in prizes. Todd, did you enter?
No, I wasn't allowed.
You were allowed. They said you could.
Did they say that?
Yes, they said, and you can enter.
I'm pretty sure you told us on RAWtalk that we could enter, didn't you?
I said you can enter.
Yeah.
But was Todd
You
here?
are a filthy
maybe
liar.
Todd wasn't here.
He doesn't listen to our show.
Whoops.
Actually,
Thanks for listening, Todd.
Do you know what he only listens to?
When he's on?
When he's on.
I just listen to myself. I skip
He's like,
everything else.
yeah. Look at my new...
Skip ahead. Where's the Todd angle?
Look at my
Where's
touch
Todd. Todd cam? Oh, Todd cam.
Look at the touch of gray on my beard. Yeah, look at that beard.
I told you, Only for Men tweeted
Just for
me.
Men.
Just for Men.
Just for Men tweeted me.
You should know that.
And I was
Camera's not very
offended.
straight, though.
I was offended by that.
You were offended by
I
it?
was.
Well, I liked your beard longer and your hair longer. Now you just look very preppy with like a swooped over thing on the top of your head.
It's hot in the streets.
It is. Oh, but anyway, you should have entered. I'm curious to see what kind of microphone Rode is going to give to people.
Yeah, what is a super secret microphone?
Well, I mean, it's super and it's secret. Does it get any better than that?
I wonder if it's a lavalier, if it's, what is it?
It's super
Is it a
secret.
studio
Is
mic?
it part of the Marvel Universe, possibly?
I don't know. I don't even know what
Does
it
it have
is.
special powers?
Yes.
But all the point I'm trying to make is when they run the contest, My Rode Reel competition next year again, maybe you should enter because maybe they'll give you some free stuff. Who knows? Or maybe you win, and that's what it's all about.
Oh, yeah.
So big thank you to Rode for being a sponsor each and every week. Well, they're on the wheel, and we use their microphones.
Always.
We've got the Video Mic Go's. We run those all the time. Video Mic Pros, these bad boys.
Everyone we use.
And a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
So if you're checking it, check out Rode. Google Rode. You can't. There's no keyboard thing with a circle with a zero. You know how they have that slash through it?
Little slash?
I don't know how they came up with that.
don't
There's
know.
probably a keyboard shortcut for that, but I don't know it. For Rode, I just call it Rode. So go anyway.
RD.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Unless you need microphones.
Unless you need microphones, then you could do it. But also, before we get into the photo news,
Yes.
huge drum roll announcement.
Oh,
Huge
okay.
drum roll.
Does
What
Todd
could
even
it
have
be?
that?
Oh,
There
he's
it
got
is.
it.
Announcing the third annual Allens-Nikon-A-Palooza.
Oh, my God.
It's happening again.
I can't believe it.
September 12th, which is a Saturday, start of
my vacation.
Steven's vacation
Yes.
for the week. 'Cause
What?
He's taken off.
He goes on vacation?
We
I
know.
actually have off, yeah. It's weird.
Let me talk about this.
Baloney.
This is important. It's the third annual one.
Yep.
Third.
Obviously Nikon's a sponsor. Last year, they did sensor cleaning. Mm-hmm. They're going to do sensor cleaning again, so let me not forget my D4S this time, like I did last time. We're not going to do a RAWtalk there. We're going to hang out, and hopefully Todd decides he wants to go
I'm
to meet
busy
you
already.
people.
I'm already busy.
You're booked.
I'm already booked.
Oh,
You
what
are?
date? I'm busy.
Yeah.
You are really really.
I don't know. What's the date?
September 12th.
I'm booked.
It's a Saturday. So maybe Todd will be there or not, but they'll do the
hope
sensor
not.
cleanings. It's going to start somewhere around 10 a.m. like it did before.
Yeah.
Too
if
early.
you want to get your sensor cleaned for free, which is normally $100, you want to get there early because once they fill up, they're going to have to cut that off.
Nikon or Canon? Both
No, they're
Canon?
only going to touch your Nikon.
Son of a...
Can I bring my 5D Mark III?
You can
Will
bring
they
it,
clean
but
my iPhone?
they won't be able.
Can
They
you
won't.
clean
They
my
won't do cleaning.
sensor?
I think there's going to be a Nikon D750 giveaway.
Ooh.
Oh, snap.
There's going to be a bunch.
Well, it was Canon-A-Palooza last year, right?
No, it was always Nikon-A-Palooza.
Was it always Nikon?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was a D7200 they gave away last year.
That's what it was.
So
yeah.
there's going to be different aspects of the giveaway. If you come in, there's going to be huge trade-in offers. So there's going to be added bonus, like whatever you trade in, depending on how much it is, you'll get extra money in credit to the store. And if you're looking to buy new stuff, I just say they're going to play Let's Make a Deal. If you want to buy old film equipment from the store,
Yeah, they're doing the used
play
sale
Let's
again?
Make a Deal. Yeah, and you're getting extra money if you trade in used gear.
Cool.
So if you're looking to buy something new, do that. And if you purchase something from Nikon, you're going to get entered for the D750. But then if you just show up, there's other prizes that are going to be given away that you don't have to buy anything to be a part of.
Very cool.
It's going to be really good. Anyway, so we'll be there. I think I'm going to bring the Wheel of Fro out because that's
The
how we're
mini
going to
one,
pick.
right? We're
That's
not
how we're
bringing
going
the
to.
big one.
No, that's how we're going to pick the D750 winner. Is put all their names around it. I think,
So are you going to pick like 10 names out of a raffle and then put the names on
Yeah.
the wheel and then spin it?
or we'll put the numbers on the wheel and spin it, and then the person that has it will win it.
We'll figure it out.
Can I
But-
bring my air horn?
Yes, you can bring your air horn.
Sound
All
effects
right,
board.
all right. Let's get to excited photo news. After we announce that third annual Allens-Nikon-A-Palooza, we need photo news music. Let's go with the Hobbit theme because Trey Ratcliff lives over there in
New
Hobbit,
Zealand,
Hobbit,
right?
New Zealand land.
The Hobbit theme then.
Well, not the Hobbit theme exactly,
But Hobbit themed.
but something is similar to like Bilbo Baggins.
Okay.
And Frodo.
Gotcha.
Did you read those books as a child?
Hell no. I mean, we read them in school together. We
watched
read
the movies. Does
We
that
read
count?
The Hobbit.
That's one book.
They passed it out,
Yeah.
and we read it as a class. And thankfully, they passed me up when it was my turn to read in front of the class
I listened to it on cassette.
on cassette.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you watch the cartoon?
No. I used the theater of the mind.
Good.
Theater of the mind.
I know it goes on in your mind.
You have no.
Did you get my text about that service now offering a $9.99 unlimited, higher speed with better quality?
I don't read your texts. I pretty much ignore all your texts.
All right,
so.
let's get to photo news.
Oh, God. Two photographers were robbed in San Fran in broad daylight this past week. Now, the worst part is that the two suspects accused of stealing the gear took it with the help of some pepper spray. The photographers were unloading their car when the suspects came up and sprayed one of them with pepper spray while choking the other against a garage. Now, taking about $7,000 worth of photo equipment.
That's all they had amongst two people?
I guess so. Now, one of the photographers turned to Craigslist for help and to warn other photographers out there. She says,
Craig, can you help me?
She says, I am in need of your help in finding my camera gear. There will be a reward and no questions asked if returned. Now, she listed the gear, which includes 5D Mark III Mark II, Canon 24-70, f2.8 version 2, Canon 70-200, a camera grip, and a very distinctive black rapid camera strap with floral patterns.
Well,
Did it
there's
say
Not the I Shoot
Raw?
Raw one.
Oh, damn it.
With floral patterns.
Was she
Unless she decked out the I Shoot Raw one with floral patterns.
Was she on lens tag?
I don't know. There was nothing about lens tag mentioned.
Should probably put your gear on lens tag.
Oh, yeah. And a couple memory cards that were stolen, too. But they're so cheap these days anyway. Now, the photographer says, we both lost our cameras and gear. Photography is our livelihood, and we are absolutely heartbroken that this happened. Now, it's a shame. I mean, pepper sprayed, and the one was choked against a garage.
Wait.
That sucks.
They used a garage to choke her?
They were just choking her against the
my
garage.
God, that's
I don't know if it was
horrible.
the guy or girl, but one of them got choked.
That's terrible.
And pepper sprayed, yeah.
And seriously, like,
I think she got choked, actually.
Pepper spray should only be used on hippies.
I mean, obviously it's terrible that they must have followed them or known that they had camera gear.
Yeah. DJI has announced yet another drone.
Who?
This one being DJI.
Thank you.
Announced another drone. This one being their new entry-level one. It's simply called the DJI Phantom 3 Standard. It's a $799 drone that gets the job done in a more affordable package.
For when the Pro and the Advanced are too good for you, we need to give you the standard or the subpar.
They should have called it the amateur version. No. DJI says the new drone is designed specifically for first-time pilots and that it's ready to fly out of the box.
Does that mean it comes with the propellers on it?
Well, and I
Is
also
it already
wondered,
spinning when
that-
you open the box?
Are the batteries charged?
does that mean you need to calibrate it or anything like that? Or is that doesn't make sense?
It doesn't make sense because the way that I thought about it, I'm like, okay, it comes ready to fly out of the box. So wait, I open the box and it's ready to
ready?
fly?
It
Yeah,
just
that's what I
flies
read
and
it as,
chops
too.
your nose. Ow!
There you go. Get a new haircut that way.
There it goes. Mom, my
Did it.
drone just flew away.
Did it? It flying
And it's
home.
really Attack of the Drones right there. So spec-wise, it features a newly designed 12-megapixel camera with a 94-degree distortion-free lens. I believe the Advanced and Professional have the same ones. It can shoot 2.7K video or 1080p at 30 frames per second.
Which is higher than what the...
Advanced
does.
That only does 1080p, but it does 60 frames per second.
Oh.
I don't know if I would want the 60 frames more or the higher resolution.
Keep going because there are differences.
It also has a 25-minute flight time with a range of half mile and intelligent flight features like follow me, waypoint, and point of interest. Now, these won't be available immediately, but DJI says they will be coming soon, I think like a software update.
Which is good because it's going to happen with all the other ones as well.
They're already pretty much there. Now, it has a 3-axis gimbal, but it's the older one used with the Phantom 2. So it's not the brand new one.
Son of a...
Still really stable, but it is, again, the new camera, not the old Phantom
Wait a
2
second.
camera.
How much is the Advanced?
$999.
No. It's under $1,000?
The Advanced is. Now,
Is it really?
The Professional, I think, is $1199.
No, it's 12.
Or
Isn't it-
$12.99? Is it 12?
Can somebody go to look that up?
Is that what we used?
We use
use
the
the Professional.
the 4K
Yeah.
model.
Why would we use anything less, Todd?
Duh.
Best drones ever.
I don't know. The main differences are that there's no downward facing camera.
No downward
so
facing
if it loses
camera.
GPS. A light bridge video downlink. There's none of that.
It's a different controller.
It's a different controller. And that's it, really. I think.
And it does 2.7K, which
Well,
is better.
2.7K.
Joe, let me know when you find it.
Again, it has the older
Oh, you didn't
gimbal.
look- you're not looking it up?
Ah,
No, you're
damn
not.
it, Joe.
Damn it. One job.
And don't screw up the clock while you're at it either.
Don't look at me.
The thing is, I just want to get these prices, and once I get these prices, I can comment more.
I'm pretty sure it's either $999 or $1,000.99 for the advanced.
So it's
And-
$200 more.
Yeah, because I believe the Professional is $500 more than this one.
Right. Yes, I get it. $799. It's almost like a throwaway freaking drone these days. But
Very
the
affordable.
trade-off, the camera's fine, the gimbal's going to be fine. It's not going to be as good as the Advanced or Professional.
Yep.
But the downward-facing dog is much better on the 3 than on anything else. Like, you know how stable it is to fly the Professional.
Yeah.
You know how stable it was to fly the freaking Inspire 1? Mm-hmm. That thing is incredible. Joe, did you find it?
Yeah, the 3 Advanced is $999.
$999.
boom. Who's right?
I would spend the extra couple $100 and get the 3 Advanced.
Well, yeah, personally, I think I would too if I was going to make a real investment in it. If you're going to pay $799 for a drone, you might as well go all out and throw an extra 200 in and get the 1080p at 60
And then at
frames
that
per
point,
second.
are you,
Personally, that's what I would do.
At that
And
point, then
you
I'd
might
buy
as well
the
get
professional.
Professional.
Seriously,
Yeah.
I would just buy the professional.
It's
to have
not
the
like
4K.
where it's the Inspire, where it's $3,000. That's a huge price jump.
Yeah.
Speaking of drones, a Kentucky man named William H. Meredith was arrested this past week after he shot down a drone with his shotgun. He's being charged with 2 felonies, criminal mischief and wanton endangerment. Now, the drone...
Spell that?
W-A-N-T-O-N. Endangerment.
Wanton.
It's wanton.
Oh.
Now, the drone was apparently flying over the neighborhood, including people's private backyards, so once it passed over his property and hovered, he says, for a few seconds, he took it down.
I just so happen to be sitting here on my back porch.
Martha, there's a vulture. There's a vulture in our yard. Start up the oven.
God. I actually have what he said in the newscast.
Oh, really?
Transcribed, yeah. But let me finish. Now, the drone operator then confronted him about their drone, saying he was just showing his friends and family the drone and having fun and flying it around. Now, Meredith, the guy, says in the news report, 4 guys came over to confront me about it, and I happened to be armed. So that changed their minds. They asked me, "Are you the SOB that shot my drone?" And I said, "Yes, I am. I had my 40 millimeter.
SOB.
I had my 40 millimeter Glock on me, and they started toward me, and I told them, if you cross my sidewalk, there's going to be another shooting." That whole news report, though, you can watch him being interviewed and him saying those exact words. It's posted over on the website.
Hi. This is my Glock 40. Wait, that wasn't a shot. I thought you said shotgun.
No, he also said he had his 40 millimeter Glock on him.
I had multiple
he was
weapons.
carrying, yeah.
I had
Yeah, he had
multiple weapons.
Just in case a squirrel runs across your backyard in Kentucky and you need to shoot it, I'm going to
carry.
shoot that damn drone out of the sky. That's Obama.
Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama. It's Obama flying it. Hey, Martha, why are you flying? Obama flying those drones again. I told you next time Obama fly that drone, I'm gonna shoot that motherfucking down. We're gonna cook that. I got it. Are you the? Yeah, I'm the SOB that shot down your drone. It's because of Obama.
What else he say?
Now, he's arguing that he was simply exercising his right to maintain the privacy of his family. Now, the memory card is gone when the drone was recovered and nowhere to be found, so I wonder if they were actually filming something.
Look,
because he thinks they were filming his daughter who was laying out in the pool. That's what he said.
How old was she?
I think he said 16.
She was 7.
But he said that she came in, notified the parents that the drone
That's
was
my daughter
flying.
and my wife.
Dad, Obama flying that drone again, trying to look up my.
Honey, you better shoot that down before he gets our girl pregnant.
Oh my God!
You can get somebody
Stereotypes
pregnant
everywhere.
from a drone.
He can inseminate you from space.
It's true.
I seen it on Fox News.
At Google.
Google it. He's got super semen space demons.
It's on the internet. It must be true.
It's on the interwebs. I seen it.
I've seen it with my eyes. NASA's Discover camera that's 1 million
Can we
miles.
talk about shooting drones out of the sky
Still?
more? I mean, it's fun.
Oh, God. Moving forward, NASA's Discover camera that's 1 million miles away. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. That captured another amazing set of photos, this time of the moon passing in front of the Earth.
It's all fake. It's not real. It's a conspiracy.
Now, Obama.
There is no
fun
moon.
fact about this photo, too. It shows the far side of the moon, the side that it always faces away from the Earth. Now, this particular view of the Earth and the moon
so,
together.
Wait. The moon was mooning you?
Martha, the moon. Obama's on the moon again. Shoot that sumbitch.
The
You think my
moon.
shotgun will hit it?
The moon is mooning us because it's going. We got to see the moon of the moon.
We got to see its bare bottom, yes. Now, this only happens twice a year due to the orbits of the moon and the Discover satellite. It only sees this view. It only moves them twice.
In my eyes.
You haven't busted out
makes
John Mayer.
me-
No, Dave.
That's Dave. Does John Mayer have a satellite song too?
No.
Satellite in night sky makes me wonder, my satellite. Dave Matthews.
Now, the pictures were put together in a time-lapse video, which you guys can see over on the website. You can tell them that.
FronosPhoto.com/RAWtalk-145. That is where you can find all of the photo news, stories, and more, generally up on a Monday, because this gets released every Monday. That's when we have a new episode. You can find the photo news stories. You can download the episode as an MP3. You can also subscribe on iTunes if you would like to.
Now, I'll tell you, this totally looks fake, like a composited image almost.
It's a conspiracy.
It's totally.
It does, but it looks absolutely tremendously incredible.
Oh, it looks incredible so much that, again, it looks fake. Now, more on space. Astronaut Scott Kelly recently took a photo that showcases the
What is
Earth,
Scott Kelby doing in space?
Earth, Moon, Venus, and Jupiter all lined up in a row. He shared it via Twitter on his 114th day in space. It's pretty
Welcome
neat.
to Earth.
Welcome to Earth. But obviously Venus, Jupiter, and the Moon are so tiny, they just look like little tiny specks.
It still looks really
It still looks awesome, yeah.
so cool.
This is pretty big. Pentax's medium format 645D camera has had a major price drop. The once $10,000 40 megapixel CCD sensor body is now selling for just $4,000, more than half off. Now, the camera was initially released 5 years ago. It has,
what?
Yeah, 5 years ago.
No.
5 years ago.
What were you doing 5 years ago, Steven?
Well, 5 years ago, I was in my brother's room at my dad's house making videos.
Making out with him? Oh.
No, he didn't live there anymore. It became my office. It was the Fronos Photo office with the bed in the background, and
It looks so good.
You can find those old
It
videos.
didn't look like your bedroom at all.
It was my brother's room.
Oh, it was your brother's room. That was the office.
That wasn't
Okay.
in my, but there are videos very early, very early that I did on jaredpoland.com.
Nice.
That I took with a little camcorder and had to figure out how to edit on my PC. And those were done in my bedroom.
Are they on YouTube still?
Yeah.
You can find them.
You can still find them.
How can I find them?
Just go to
What do I type in?
look in Jared Poland on YouTube.
Scroll back
and,
1,800 videos.
and just hit oldest first, and you can see them.
Oh.
You've got mail.
National Geographic has released a set of the winning photos from this year's Traveler Photo Contest.
Why didn't they release the losing photos?
The top 10 images were broken down after viewing nearly 18,000 submissions. The grand prize winner, I'm going to completely butcher his name, is Anwar Patyan Floriuk of Mexico, who took an incredible underwater photo of divers swimming near a humpback whale. Now, he won an 8-day Nat Geo photo expedition to Costa Rica and the Panama Canal for 2. He says, in quotes, "The photo wasn't planned. I was taking photos near the head of the whale, and all of a sudden she began to swim toward the rest of the diving team. The divers gave the whale and her calf space, and I just clicked at the moment when the flow and composition seemed right." But you can find a link
Speaking of flow,
over on the website.
do female, because they're mammals, right?
Yes.
They're
They
mammals.
are.
Do you think
They're like the largest mammals, aren't they?
that? Well, they have the biggest balls.
Ooh,
Blue whales have.
you
the
would know that.
Blue,
Well, I mean, come on now.
my question is this: you talked about flow. Does a female
Nothing to do with that at all.
whale? Yeah, but when they're swimming in the ocean, are they bleeding? Do
That's
they have
what-
periods?
That's why you don't open your mouth in the ocean.
No, that's because the last time you were in the ocean, you just sat there and were like,
Martha Obama's in the ocean. Shoot that son of a bitch.
Oh, man. But again, you can find a link over on the website to all the images, all the submissions, and the top 10 photos. KFC, Todd's favorite, has
I
created
love
a
it.
fried
Todd likes
chicken
Popeyes.
bucket that features a built-in instant photo printer. Now, the bucket comes in celebration of KFC's 60th year in Canada, called the Memories Bucket. It's basically a built-in Instax-like printer at the bottom of the bucket, which you connect to via a special app and Bluetooth to print from.
and how much is it?
It's not for public sale. So basically, well, they say, first of all, it's a new way to make memories. Eat KFC and
Eating
take
KFC.
selfies.
Right, and it's going to come
Um,
out smelling like fried chicken and be greasy.
And you're going to have all greasy and smeared up. Now, it's not available to the public.
But you know who would go do that?
Sorry, Todd. Can't get it.
That guy from Kentucky is going to be lining up to get the.
Martha, I can get my picture taken at KFC.
Bring the Glock just in case.
I know where we're going for our anniversary.
Those chickens might still be alive. But the fast food company says they'll be giving a select few away, so you can possibly get one
Yay!
if you want to print from your
Have
KFC
you ever
bucket.
eaten KFC?
All right, so I'm not going to lie. When I was younger, this was my birthday dinner. That's the one thing my parents wouldn't let me eat is KFC, and I loved it so much that I would go, up until I was like 11, every birthday would go to KFC.
Every
That
birthday
would
was
be
KFC.
no
no presents, just
well,
KFC.
I would still get presents, but from like probably 7 to like 11, they would.
We
bring
should have
me
went to KFC
Wait, wait.
for his birthday.
I haven't gone since I was like 11, but
Little Steven?
I don't eat that anymore.
This is Steven's mom.
Yes.
Little Steven, your birthday's coming up. Where would you like to go for your birthday dinner?
I'd like
Somewhere
to get
nice?
extra crispy chicken from the Colonel and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle
Yay!
No, Power Rangers. That's what I was all about.
and a Power Ranger.
Yes, I did eat KFC. Not anymore, though. You eat it all the time, don't you?
The only fast food that touches my lips.
Would never touch this body.
The only chicken that touches my lips from fast food is
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, man. Oh, that stuff
So
is
good.
so bad.
It's dangerous.
It's better. It's like it's okay.
Now, this isn't exactly new news, but wanted to bring it up. Petapixel put together a set of portraits of babies in camera bags taken over the years. The set features infants in the center of the bag where your long lens would normally go, with gear surrounding the newborns. Now, some even have a custom like onesie or T-shirt decked out with camera gear like lingo or pictures on it.
There are some I Shoot Raw onesies in the world.
Are there?
Yes.
Well, you only made like one, right?
I made about 2 of each size. Pascal has them. His kid has probably outgrown them by now.
You think people out there would want I Shoot Raw onesies for their kids?
No, probably not.
They'd be like, "Oh, is that how he was? Is that how he was
That's what
conceived?"
I was thinking.
Because the dudes outside doing construction were like, "Yeah, I love to shoot raw."
That's why I got 4
that's why I got 4
Martha, be careful with those drones. Those boys shoot raw and get our girl pregnant.
All I envision is, what was that guy's name?
Who?
The Kentucky guy?
Leroy.
William H. Meredith.
William H. Meredith is sitting there watching his daughter in the pool, polishing his gun. Just sitting there, it's like daughter. He's like watching his
Girl,
daughter.
you look real good.
Yeah. If
You want me
anybody,
to oil you up?
you need some lotion?
I got some lotion for you.
Let Daddy rub the lotion
Come here,
on
let
your
me put
skin.
some lotion on you.
Hey,
Oh, God.
that Obama's flying again.
Got that goddamn Obama, here he comes.
I'm gonna rub some lotion on him.
Fujifilm has announced an infrared version of the X-T1, simply called the X-T1 IR.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the exact same camera, but it utilizes infrared technology, obviously,
Nice.
allowing it to view light not normally visible to the human eye. Now, the X-T1 IR can view portions of the electromagnetic spectrum between 380 nanometers and 1,000 nanometers.
That's like this far.
This includes visible, infrared, and ultraviolet light. Now, Fuji is pitching this to crime scene investigators, fine art photographers, and other scientific and technical applications.
Can I use it to look across the street at my neighbor?
Basically, anyone that has
Martha.
use for infrared technology. It'll be available this October for a price tag of $1,700, which it's actually about $500 more than the original.
Got it.
Pretty expensive.
Todd's cracking himself up.
I used to, and I lived in an apartment years ago. I mean, these apartments are right next to each other, and right across the way from my window was another window, and this girl would get undressed and dressed all the time. Now, I mean, once it happens, you're like, "Oh, look at that! Isn't that crazy?" Then after a while, you're like, "There's that chick undressing again." Whatever.
Was it
But my
Meredith's daughter?
roommate used to just park out there, like park at my window. I'm like, "Dude, can you get out of my room? I need to change for work." And he'd be like, hold on, she's getting dressed." Anyways,
Which was it? Was that Calvin?
no, it was not Calvin. It was another friend of
Name
mine.
dropping.
I don't know who Calvin is, so there must have been a Calvin.
Okay.
Calvin Klein.
A man named Trevor Mailman shot a self-portrait of
A
himself.
mailman?
It's Mahlmann.
I like Postman.
Is it
Fro better.
Malman?
It's Malman.
Malman?
He's Jewish, Malman.
Malman.
It's derived from the
You're so confident.
it's
it's
derived
Malman.
from the
Definitely
Eastern
Malman.
European
I know him.
Malman, formerly
Oh.
known as he was a
Mountain
man who mouthed man, so
Oh.
he ended up on his knees a lot.
He mouthed men.
Yes.
He shot a self-portrait of himself looking up at the ISS as it passed by in the sky as he sits on the wing of an airplane. Now he says, in quotes, "I thought, why don't I pull out my grandpa's little Cessna 150, position it just outside the hangar in the grass, have the runway lights shine through behind, and maybe stand next to it and watch the ISS fly over." Now he had to frame a shot before the flyover, so he used compass headings and star charts to figure out where in the sky the ISS would exactly be.
That is unbelievable. That I don't have. That is great stuff.
Well, there's some apps that you can actually just point up with your phone, and it'll tell you exactly where it's going
Oh,
to
well,
be.
that's
just
cheating.
How was it cheating?
He went old school though. He had star maps
And an abacus.
and an abacus.
So he shot 16 separate 16-second exposures with his Canon Rebel T5i at ISO 100 with an 8mm fisheye at f3.5.
8mm?
And then he stacked them in post. Neat concept.
Did it work?
I mean, the photo. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's pretty cool.
So what are you saying? It sucks?
I wouldn't
photos
use
ever.
those exact terms.
Not
but
as good as my
But
photos.
you thought it could be better.
I think it could be better, yeah. But
Okay.
it is neat that showing the entire ice. I actually saw it. I went outside that day. My brother has it, so it notifies him every time the ISS flies
What?
over.
I didn't get a phone call?
Yeah, and you can actually, it takes 6 seconds to go by in the entire sky, which is why he took, I guess,
Wow.
16 separate photos.
That's cool.
But it just looks like a moving star that's moving pretty fast. It's really cool. Photographer Anton Orlov created a fully functional transparent camera. It's called the Clara, short for clear camera. It's a simple daguerreotype box camera with a 19th century Petzval lens, a transparent polycarbonate red shell, and a spare 4x5 camera back. Now the red body filters out UV and blue light that you can look into while a photo is being exposed inside. Now he got the idea for this camera while working in a dark box with wet plate collodion photography.
He worked in a dark box.
Now, he noticed that the sunlight streaming in through the red windows didn't cause any light fogging in the resulting tintype photo.
Duh.
He said it's the same concept as a safety red light in a dark room. He says the camera can work in any condition, even middle of the day when the sun is like beaming right down on it, and it can work with direct positive photo paper as well.
Do you think it's good for taking photos in a backyard of a girl in a pool?
God damn it, Martha Obama's got a see-through camera.
Orlov is now selling custom Clara cameras too. Now the camera can be designed around a particular lens of your choice as well. Just email them, tell them what lens you want exactly. Pricing is $350 for a 4x5 or smaller, $500 for 5x7, and $700 for an 8x10 rig. He says a Clara 2.0 is also on the way. He's working on a sliding box design that allows for various lenses.
All right, that's the first mistake.
And shorter
You
focusing
never announce the second
distance.
generation when you're still selling the first generation.
That's it for photo news this week.
That's it?
That's it. 12 stories. Some short, some long,
Some that keep getting recalled.
some that keep getting recalled.
A lot of outer space.
A lot of outer space, yeah. It's always the interesting stuff. I think everyone loves the outer space stuff, you know, because it's stuff that not the average person can replicate.
Well, speak for yourself. You haven't seen my iPhone shots.
You're not in space taking these pictures.
You have no idea where I go after I leave here.
The locos. Well, how does it go?
Johnny number 5.
Johnny number 5.
You love him.
The locos kick your balls into outer space.
Martha Obama's got a robot talking to me now.
No mic etiquette, Todd. No mic etiquette.
Shut up.
So what are we rolling out with this week?
Oh, we got to do some news. I think we should do some Kentucky Fried Chicken music.
Yes.
What kind of music is that?
Well, isn't there a song called Kentucky Fried that we're not allowed to use?
We need some country.
We'll find
we need
out.
some country hillbilly music
Let's do some country hillbilly music.
All right.
with some chickens.
3, 2, 1, go.
Sweet sour chicken!
Back. All right.
And we're back.
All right. So thank you for that.
You're
That
very welcome,
That
sir.
music, the intro and outro music to that is brought to you each and every week by audioblocks.com.
Yes, sir.
That is audioblocks.com/go/fro, where you can find Hicks shooting drones out of sky sound effects, yelling at Obama at the same time. I don't know that you can actually find that, but they are very close to Washington, D.C., down there at Video Blocks, Audio Blocks, and Graphics Stock headquarters.
Virginia.
We've been there to Virginia.
They probably have
Reston.
that. That's probably a huge search for them.
Search redneck watching his daughter in the pool, sunbathing.
Screaming about Obama.
Oh, 1,000
shooting
results.
drones.
Look at that.
All right. Speaking of Obama, let's get to Trey Ratcliff's interview.
Okay.
So Trey Ratcliff is here in the United States.
Yes.
The first time we've sat down and had a nice discussion. And we all know that he is huge into HDR. He is the guy that you think about when it comes to HDR. His website is stuckincustoms.com. I used to look at it, but I never partook in the HDR scene. That wasn't my thing.
I did for a little while.
Yeah, I know you like it, and you do it sometimes at the concerts. But it's being that he was coming here, it was a great opportunity to be in touch and get him to sit down. And I think it's a really great conversation that we had. You get to hear about his origin story, when he started shooting, how he decided to put his stuff out there without a watermark. Because a lot of people still bitch like, oh, I don't want people to steal my images. What do you have to lose at this point? It's a different world, you know? We don't live in the same world that we did a couple years ago because of Obama. And no, I'm just kidding.
God damn it, Martha, Obama's here again.
So Trey was kind enough to come on over before his photo walk, which we're going to go out to later, and the party that he's having.
We'll be there.
He's getting hundreds of people to show up to these things. Really nice photo walk that he's doing around the country. He's taking a tour bus, which is awesome. But let's get to this interview so you can hear Trey Ratcliff talking about all things Trey Ratcliff. What brings you to Philly?
Well, this is city stop number 2 out of 13. We're doing photo walks in 13 different cities across the USA. You know, I moved to New Zealand about 3 years ago, and I miss the U.S., and I love doing these photo walks, and I thought it'd be fun to come here and rent a bus. We have this giant bus that sleeps a bunch of people. In fact, I have my wife and 3 kids, and we've got a small crew of about 4 people. And we're driving across the USA, started in New York. I did a photo walk last night, and we're here in Philly and doing a huge photo walk tonight. I can't wait for it. I've only been to Philadelphia one time for just a few hours, and I was amazed. I thought I got to come back here and like do it up properly.
What were you amazed about?
Oh, well, I think it was just the architecture of the buildings, and the people just seemed to have like real attitude or something. You know, you just kind of felt a vibration or an energy here. It's like, whoa, this is quite a place.
It depends what area of the city you go to.
Yeah.
So you should probably be in the good part of the city. Well, there's no
Yeah.
such thing as it could be any part. So, but that's cool. Where can people find out information about the future photo walks?
We have a website we set up specifically for this. It's called tour.treyratcliff.com.
So we get to tour you?
No.
We get to explore Trey?
No, it's not that sort of a tour. We keep it pretty family friendly, but many families do come out for this kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, that is great. I mean, I'm coming tonight at some point. I know that you have a party of some sort going on and a photo walk, which we'll get all the times for that for tonight. So I know where we're going. But yeah, the tour bus. Have you laid down the tour bus rules yet for the kids?
Well, as you probably know, being quite the full-on rock star, the main rule is no number 2s on the bus. And this rule was immediately broken by my youngest 6-year-old daughter, Scarlett, who was not fully versed on the rule book. So it's already, the seal's open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, you're gonna have to stop that.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't bode well along the long week. But I don't know. How did the tour come about?
Well, we did our first Kickstarter ever, and it goes for about 60 days. And we thought, well, it'd be kind of cool to combine like our marketing effort for this bag with a photo walk tour across the U.S.
So they went hand in hand. The new bag.
That's right. They kind of came into it together. But then we started thinking about it like, well, this bus tour is probably our worst idea or our best idea, but it's turning into a better and better idea. It's incredibly expensive to do it, and we have a tour manager out of the UK that came over. My right-hand man, my COO from New Zealand came over. We have a driver and all this stuff, so it's pretty expensive. We ended up getting a couple other sponsors, so that turned out to be fun. And we kind of combined the sponsors with giveaways, because people like prizes and stuff like that, and we wanted it to be fun. We didn't just want it to be like this super corporate event, but we wanted to find stuff that made sense for us.
So do you actually walk around the city together in a group, or are the groups too large? It's really just you talking and going about it?
It's we've learned a lot. I've done about 30 or 40 of these, and they get bigger and bigger. And when you get hundreds or up to 1,000 people out, it gets pretty logistically complex.
Yeah.
And so our new system, which we tested in New York last night, which seemed to work, is we have a little pre-party out in front of the bus. And the bus has its own speaker system and this sort of thing. And that goes for about 2 hours from 5 till 7 p.m. And people just meet and gather, and I go out and shake people's hands and introduce people to each other, and just very loosey-goosey, very zen. I'm a very zen kind of guy, so it's very laid back. And then the photo walk officially starts at 7. I jump up on top of the bus and I address the crowd like Mussolini. And
Like Mussolini?
Yeah.
Does it end the same way?
No.
I hope
Doesn't
not.
end like Eva Perón either. I need to come up with a better analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it started out great, right? Mussolini thought things were going great.
I can think of from Almost Famous, I'm on drugs.
Yeah.
That, or I dig music.
Yeah. So I give a little 10-minute talk. I kind of say a few inspirational things to get people going, a few maybe ideas to think about or themes for the photo walk, some challenges maybe. And then we begin. And we all have a pre-planned route that really only takes 30 minutes if you were to walk it straight.
Yeah.
But we spend 2 hours because we stop and take photos, like a Japanese mob group. And what happens is we start streaming out through the streets, and it's kind of like a centipede. And then on occasion, 4 or 5 times, I stop, and we kind of recongeal like a slime mold. And then I set up my camera to take a photo, whatever strikes me as interesting. And then my very nice little crew, they set up a mini little stage for me and put speakers all around me. And then I jump up and I talk about what my composition is, or why I chose this lens, or exactly what my settings are, or the story I'm trying to tell with the photo. Maybe a quick little 2 or 3 minute story about another photo like this. So that whole thing takes about 5 or 10 minutes. And then we go back into centipede mode until something else strikes us.
Now, do you have to get permits for doing this in the city, or?
Some cities we do. We've had to get parade permits. Some cities we've had to rent cops to block off the streets.
Like Paul Blart?
Yeah, like the mall cop of fame. We've got. We're trying to do it right. I don't mind being a little bit underground, a little bit whatever, but I don't really want to get arrested or get people in trouble.
That would be great.
That would be great. Little controversy is okay, not like jail time controversy. And also we want people to be safe, because it can be dangerous with so many people out.
Well, especially in Philly, trying to cross the streets, people aren't going to stop. You just have to be careful.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
So, did you know we met before once?
A long time ago?
Long time ago.
Tell me more, refresh my memory.
I don't expect you to remember.
Pre-Fro?
Well, I had the Fro, but I didn't have the website yet.
I see.
I was doing an event down in Tampa, and it was like 2009-ish, and you were standing there at the checking in Tampa at the counter, and I was like, "Whoa, what lens is that? An 85?" And you're like, "Yeah, it's an 85 1.4." It was on the Nikon something at the time, and I didn't know your website. And you handed me a little card, one of those small thin ones, and I was like, "Oh, cool." And then I see all these people walking around in different hotels taking HDR type photos, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I obviously looked you up when I got home, but that was
all right.
We met. That was a long time ago.
It was pre-website. A lot happens in 6 years?
A lot.
Isn't it amazing how much has happened?
Well, when did you start your website?
Oh, I started about 8 or 9 years ago. Yeah.
What were you doing before?
Well, I had a very different life before. My background in education is computer science and math, and so I was sort of this engineering geek. I know a photographer geek, but I did all kinds of different tech stuff. I was a programmer when I first got started with Anderson Consulting, which is now called Accenture. I was not a very good programmer. I left that and did a few startup kind of tech companies that I started, most of which were total failures. I learned a few things along the way. Some did okay. And then when I turned 35, I got my first DSLR, my first real camera. Because at the time I had an online game company that I had started, and we had a few studios around the world, and I had just really started to travel, and I was so amazed at how beautiful the world was. I was really it got me going. I thought, well, I feel like I should take photos of it or something. I don't know anything about photography. And what happened was I started taking photos, and I just felt like they were very boring photos. I didn't really know what was going on. And then that was just kind of when I started playing with HDR, which everyone knows now. But back then, nobody knew it. They were these old command line things from MIT that you would run through your RAW files, and it would do weird things to them. And, of course, most of the time, they looked just absolutely horrible. But there were little parts of it I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. That's kind of interesting. So early on, I started really getting into this. I started the blog because I was so excited about it. And I would share my photos. I would talk about how I did them. no one went to the Lonely thing for like 2 or 3 years, just me and my mom.
Well, what was the catalyst that sent people over the top?
I think there were a few catalysts. One, like every day I would make a new blog post. So that's 365 new photos per year. And I would write about them. And that was, a lot of bad photos I put up at the beginning. But I would still maybe make 1,000 and pick my best 365. Still, they weren't that great. But I was learning and I was writing and I was kind of getting to know myself and kind of creating myself, just forcing myself to with this blog. And at some point, the photos started to get a little bit better. I started remixing them with the original RAW photo, which I think is like a really important thing.
Oh, yeah, shooting RAW, that thing.
Yeah,
I think it's important to HDR, just a bit.
Right. So this is what I do now. This is kind of the ultimate evolution. I think it will still continue to evolve. I hope it does. But I usually have a big part of the photo that's sort of like mostly RAW. I definitely do Lightroom adjustments, all that stuff. But then a lot of it, too, is maybe some HDR, maybe the sky or maybe some textures on a building or something like that. So anyway, as things started to become more refined, I also did Creative Commons non-commercial. And I uploaded a full-res photo every day with no watermark. And so people started to share things.
Was that Flickr? Through Flickr, or where were you posting?
I started on Flickr, yeah. Yeah, that was all Flickr back in the day. And people seemed to like to download the photos and put them on their websites, like non-photographers, like news websites or lifestyle websites or whatever, travel websites. And then the requirement was you can use all my photos all you want, just make sure you link back to my website.
Right.
And they did that, and slowly it grew. We never did any advertising. It was all word of mouth. We started a newsletter, which seemed counterintuitive at the time, like, because everything was on the web and everything was going mobile. Like, who uses newsletters? Well, we started one, and we would put really pretty pictures in the newsletters, and people would just forward newsletters all the time. I mean, my mom, every week, she forwards me like 5 newsletters. There's just a big group of people out there that forward newsletters. And so that helped it grow, too. So I'm very thankful. I don't take any of it for granted. I do not take myself too seriously at all. I feel very, very blessed that it became popular.
Well, yeah. What I'm getting out of is, you spent the first 2 years and you didn't quit when nobody was coming to look at your stuff. You kept forging ahead. And I think today there's this huge problem with instant gratification, that if you don't get the reach that you think you're supposed to get right away, that you don't continue on. And there's plenty of opportunities for anybody. Like when I came along to do YouTube videos, I think 2 years late to the game, but there was already other sites. People are like, well, how are you going to compete with DP Review? And how are you going to compete with these people? And it's like, I'm just going to do what I think is right.
Yeah.
And so I find it interesting that you put out full res images all the time without watermarks. And a lot of people will say, well, what about people stealing them and doing this and that? But it's benefited you tremendously in business because you sell products, you have your educational everything. And so you didn't go in with a worry that, oh, people are going to do stuff with my images, I shouldn't put a watermark on it?
I generally don't make decisions based on fear. I mostly make them based on what could be. I'm not afraid of people stealing my stuff. I think that, of course there's bottom feeders out there, but I think legitimate people and legitimate companies, they don't steal, generally. Sometimes they make mistakes. And when they do, we go after them because we still copyright them with the USPTO. Occasionally happens with newspapers. It's usually just a harshly worded letter, and they take care of it out of court. But it's never really been a problem at all. Yeah, but I also like what you said about people wanting instant fame, or if they don't stick with it for long enough, because I'm sure you've told your story. I know you've been at this forever. I remember I talked to you a few years ago, and you had gotten to the point where you had 100,000 YouTube subscribers, which was at the time ridiculous and incomprehensible that anyone could have such a high YouTube subscription number. And what are you at now?
432,000, 1,200. It's like 432,000 or so.
No, exactly. And maybe even back then you thought, well, I don't know if I'll ever get to 200,000, but it just takes time.
Well, I think some of the things like starting out is beyond the time. It's that we all started with 0.
Right.
We didn't have a
Yeah.
following.
Yeah.
And it's you don't just fall into a following, you earn your way there. You work your way there.
Right.
You put out a lot of work, you make mistakes, you learn from it, and you continue to put it out. And the fact that you put out full res images and give stuff away has paid off in spades on the back end. Because if you just started off keeping your stuff behind a paywall, not letting anybody use or see anything, then how would you grow from there? So there's in this new world of photography, depending on what it is that you want to do, if you put yourself out there to be successful, it's possible that you will become successful. And if you start locking your stuff away and watermarking it to to hell, and it looks terrible, you're not really giving people a chance to say, hey, we want to hire you to do this. And that started happening. They started hiring you.
Well, I don't do client work at all. There's one
Isn't that
exception
fun,
I made.
though? Isn't that great?
Yeah, it is great. Nothing wrong with client work. I did one client job for Air New Zealand after I moved there, and it was a really nice, fun offer in Hoppeton. So I was like, totally, I'll do that. I don't ever give that kind of advice. Like, you should never do client work, because I think if you're a photographer and people are offering you client work, yeah, you should probably take it, because it can be a pretty good way to make money in an industry that's really hard to make money in. But I think that the core of what you're talking about, like why we stuck with it and why we were taking photos, is there was sort of a purity in there. I'll tell you a quick story about when I was at university. I went to SMU in Dallas, and I was a huge Star Trek fan. I loved The Next Generation. I watched every Sunday, and I loved Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart, and I saw that he was coming to speak at my university. He was going to do Shakespeare. I was like, okay, I'm going to go see him. He's like one of my acting heroes. That guy's great. So I walked into the theater, this Meadows School of the Arts, this huge theater, thousands of people, and there were only 2 people sitting on the audience. I thought, this is strange. And I went and sat with them. I'm like, are we in the right place? They're like, yeah, we're in the right place. And I felt really worried because, my hero was about to come on stage, and he would be mortified that no one was in the audience. He would get mad. He'd be sad, or I don't know, it was a very confusing bouquet of emotions. Anyway, he walked out on stage. He was like, oh, and then he ran off stage. I thought, oh my God, this is super awkward. And then he came back, and he had 4 chairs with him. He set them up facing each other. He invited us up on stage. He said, do you guys want to come up and watch me perform Shakespeare? We're like, totally, yes. So we went up there. He performed the entire Merchant of Venice from heart perfectly, did all the voices. It was just magical. I'm not even a big Shakespeare fan, but it was just cool when you're in that environment. And then I remember at one point he was doing the soliloquy from Shylock, and he hit his chest, and like dust came up out of his old tweed coat, and like Klieg lights were burning down, and he was acting through the dust. I thought, this is so awesome. But the real impact of it didn't strike me until 20 years later when I was doing the blog. And the point is that he didn't care who showed up. He just loved acting. The right people show up for you at the right time.
That's an awesome story. Because that's like, he could run off stage and be like, well, I'm not doing this for the couple of people because these people didn't show up. It's about the people who do show up. Right. So you engage and you do that type of thing.
Yeah. You can always tell when people are doing something from their heart that they were meant to do, that they love it. People watch your show, they know you love doing this stuff. They know you love taking photos. People can sense that about a lot of well-known people in the world.
So I like to talk about business. I love business. I love marketing, branding, and figuring out how you go from point A to point B. When you started the site, did you have the idea that you wanted to make a business out of it?
No. It was just I wanted my own place on the internet that wasn't Flickr, where I could just do extended writing, and blogs were getting kind of popular back then, and I thought, I want a blog. I want to make it kind of pretty. I want my photos to look a certain way. I want my titles to look a certain way. So I started doing that and doing some storytelling and this sort of thing. And then as I was preparing this HDR tutorial, which I put on the website, I started almost immediately with the HDR tutorial. People would ask me questions. I would revise it every so often. And then at one point, I decided, I think, to make a video version of it. And I thought, well, maybe I'll sell it. I don't know what price to put on it. Who knows? And then it started selling. I was like, whoa, there's people on the internet that actually buy stuff. I thought that's pretty interesting. And then we also started to get a few incoming licensing offers from legitimate companies that wanted to license my images for travel stuff or whatever. I thought, oh, this is interesting. Meanwhile, I was doing this other online gaming thing, and it was going kind of fine. We had brought in someone else to run the company because it was getting to the point where it had over 100 people in it, and I don't like managing that many people. I'm more of an idea kind of creator kind of guy. So I was kind of in the background anyway and not doing that much. So then I thought, well, what if I did it full time? What if I really put all my brain power into it? I really have no idea what the heck I'm doing. I certainly wasn't afraid to make mistakes, but I thought, let's just mix it up and try a bunch of different things and see if it works. And I see if it worked, okay. And I talked to my wife about it. She was very supportive. She goes go for it. She believes in me. It's nice when people believe in you, even when you hardly believe in yourself. And I just went for it.
Well, so, I mean, it is amazing when you sell something online. I remember the first time I got like a YouTube or an AdSense check, or just I looked in my account and it said 18 cents, and I said to my dad, "I made it. I've made
right.
I'm like, I made it. Like I've sold something for 18, or I've made 18 cents. You can make money on the internet. It's absolutely insane.
I'd love to see a home video of that, or a dramatized remake of it.
We could totally do that.
Yeah.
I have no problem. Be like 18 cents, and it changed. It's like part of it is you start a site, but there's some people that can take it to a certain point, and then it takes somebody else to be able. When I say somebody else, like a special type of person that's capable of turning it into something even bigger. How did you find the help? Because you started it yourself, and you say we. I hear a lot of we's, and I don't know if we really means you, because I say the same thing all the time.
Right.
I usually say we because it sounds less harmful as I.
Right.
But when did you start adding more people?
There was a point when I was doing everything myself, and this was maybe 6 years ago, and I could do everything myself because I liked coding, I liked the HTML, I liked the photography. I even I like writing. I love tagging stuff on Flickr. That was one of my favorite things to do because that was another way you got discovered back in the day. You got to tag the heck out of your stuff. Put 50 tags per photo. I was like, what's another word for soccer? So I would come up with all this stuff, and I really enjoyed it. But then something occurred to me, like I should not be wasting time doing stuff that somebody else could do. I should just work on photos and processing the photos and maybe a little storytelling. So I jumped on this website. I forgot what it was called. You'll probably know. But it's you put up a bid.
Like Elance?
It's like Elance, yeah. It wasn't Elance, but it was like it. And I said, I need someone to tag my photos, and I'm willing to pay them, something like, $20 a day. And so people started bidding on it, and I ended up finding this guy named Luke Lakatosh, who lives here in Philly. Of all things, he's taking me to some awesome Mexican food restaurant later today at 3:30. If you said the name, I would.
Well, there's Loco Pez. It's not a Mexican restaurant. It's a good taco place, dive bar. Dos Segundos, Elvez.
I think it's Dos Segundos.
Could be.
I'll check on my phone after this and let you know for sure. So anyway, I hired him for this very simple thing, and he was really good at it. It turns out he's an expert at English and all this stuff. And I started slowly giving him more responsibility. Now he actually runs all of support for us. It's a full-time job. And then we started adding more and more people. I think now we're at about 12 people that help me out full-time and part-time.
Wow.
And it's kind of not rapid growth, but kind of slow growth to this point.
Yeah, it's not easy because you have to find the right people. And the expansion part, where do you see it going? Where do you want to go with it?
I don't know. The whole company is very much a product of my random ADD mind. Now, on occasion, I sit down and execute really well on things. Something that's happened just in the last 3 months is we launched a fine art series. We took 21 of my favorite works, and we only did 3 prints each. They're printed in Germany, in Dusseldorf, and they're very expensive. We've been working with Sotheby's and a few other
When
collectors.
you say expensive, what does expensive entail?
Well, the first 2 prints cost $75,000 each, and the third print cost $95,000.
Oh, that's
Third in
not
the
bad.
series.
Now, what if I went in, took a picture with my iPhone of it, and then called myself that? What was that guy's name? Richard
that
Price,
guy.
Price, right? Richard Price or something.
Yeah.
And then change, like, put something in the background. No.
Well, it's
have you
not
sold 'em?
unknown that's happened. I don't actually know how I feel about that. It's an interesting idea, and sometimes something that's a derivation in a different medium can be interesting. And contemporary art, you can do almost anything with contemporary art.
Yeah.
There was a very famous contemporary artist who, I think he bought a Basquiat for, it was a pencil drawing for, like, he used all of his money in art school and he bought it for like $10,000. This beautiful thing. And then he went and he erased almost all of it. And then he put that up, and now it's worth like $1 million. And so you wonder, like, well, is that right? You know, is the guy that takes pictures of the Instagram thing, is that right? Who knows? I
Yeah.
mean, if something has a value, it has a value.
Well, if there's somebody to buy it.
Right. If someone buys it.
But then you sit there and you go, but what about the person that actually created the
Right.
image, and all he did was manipulate in such a way that it
Right.
didn't really change. He wouldn't have been able to do this if he didn't have that original image. So give something back,
No, I think actually that would be a kind thing for this artist to do is give something to them who didn't expect anything. Give them 10 times what they might have expected.
Yeah.
Give them, whatever, $50K. They'd be happy.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's so you have the fine art series. How's that working out?
Pretty well. It's not publicly announced. This is not the right crowd to buy. It's more the fine art crowd. But we've already sold about 20 of them.
Oh.
We actually have a really cool video on TreyRatcliff.com. The whole creation process of these huge prints. They're enormous. They're like 3 meters by 3 meters, like 9 feet across. And they mostly go to collectors or galleries or museums. Some people buy them, actually, and they don't even print them. They kind of just maintain the certificate because there's a secondary market. They might resell it for $150,000 or $200,000. I don't get any of that, but they do. There's that
Sure.
whole aftermarket.
Well, how did you even get involved with fine art prints? Did somebody say you should do this?
I was approached by one of these entities that does this sort of thing, and they told me the whole thing, and I started learning more about it. It's always been sort of a black box to me. I don't really know what happens in that world. And there's actually a great book that's worth reading. I think it's called The $12 Million Stuffed Shark. And there's this contemporary artist named Damien Hirst, and he has this huge shark that he caught off the coast of Australia, and I think he put it into the MoMA. He floated it in formaldehyde, so it's this huge glass cage with a dead shark inside of it. And it just got sold for $12 million. So the whole book is about how is that worth $12 million? What is the rational justification for it? And you read through it, and you're like, okay, it kind of makes sense. It's the kind of thing that's maybe it's too much to go through in this interview, but there is actually a rationale behind it, as rational as fictional money is in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely is pretty interesting. So how did you decide to just up and move out of the country?
Well, it really had to do with the blog, and it's thanks to the internet, thanks to all my internet friends out there. The blog started doing very well. It turned into a 7-figure business. And I don't consume much. I buy camera gear and I travel a little bit, but I'm not like a big car guy or a boat guy. I just don't spend a lot of money. But the family suddenly had extra money. So we thought, let's go take the family on a grand adventure. Let's go move someplace. And I used to live in Austin, Texas. I love the U.S. I loved Austin, Texas, like a 9 out of 10. I was like, but maybe there's a 10 out of 10 out there. So we kind of went on this world tour. We thought about like northern Italy or, France or England, even Iceland. But then we went to New Zealand. And not only was it beautiful, but the people were really nice. They were very laid back, very zen. They didn't take themselves too seriously. great food, safe place. You know, the kids are able to go out and ride bikes till sunset and come back. Very neighborly. The neighbors come over, they bring food, and you all cook and eat together. You have long meals like Italy. Oh, it just felt like the right place. And so 3 years ago we made the move, and I was a little nervous. You know, it's a big thing to move your family over there. I want my wife to make friends, because if she's happy, it makes my life easier. I want the kids to grow up and make friends, and but it's really worked out nicely.
So has it affected business in a positive way?
I don't know, because I don't really have a good A/B comparison. I would like to think so, because I'm very isolated now. And I think there's something to say about isolation, because I live in a small town with only 25,000 people. In fact, we live in between two towns with 25,000 people. I have a little studio. I'm out by myself. And I think sometimes when you're alone, your thought cycles and ideas can kind of spiral out of control. And if you and this is not saying anything against people that live in cities or whatever, because you can be very independently minded. But I think that if you don't let your mind go off in strange directions and kind of support your own creative processes there, that you might end up doing the same kind of thing as everybody else. Sometimes I wonder about people that go to like photography conferences all the time, you know, just hearing what I think is probably the same kind of thing over and over from these kind of people, or this sort of thing, that they may accidentally start thinking about things that aren't important, you know, because I hear a lot of people, and I hope this isn't one of your things that you're really hard on or into, but
as long as it's not shoot JPEG, we're all right.
No. But some people are like really into your monitor calibration. You know, like it's a super important thing. And if your monitors are calibrated, you don't know what's going on.
My monitor has never been calibrated.
Right, mine either. And so, you know, sometimes I'm sure you get these comments too, like, how should I calibrate my monitor? It's very important, you know, because they hear all these people talking about this, which has nothing to do with photography, but that's just like one of 100 things people will go off on at conferences or certain websites or whatever. And anyway, if you're too much part of the group think, it's really hard for you to create.
Yeah, I love hearing you talk about, you started with the idea. Are you self-taught as a photographer first and foremost?
Totally self-taught, yeah.
So what was that first camera that you bought?
It was a Nikon D70.
D70?
Yeah.
Still one of the best little cameras out there.
Yeah, it's a nifty little job.
I have one up on the shelf still.
Right.
I think that's a camera that you give to any kid. Well, not so much today, but you could give that to somebody to learn on, and that is one of the best learning cameras ever.
Yeah.
That was a very popular camera. So that just hearing the progress, I'm fascinated with the business. I love hearing about that, because I see you have a $499 product right now that's a sale going on. I believe it's normally $599.
Right.
Did you get crap I'm sure you got crap for saying, I'm going to sell stuff, and people are like, well, I could find this for free.
Well, no, actually we got very, very little pushback, because, well, I don't know why we didn't get very, very much pushback. I think maybe my audience kind of got to know me. We do have 95% of stuff for free. We put a lot of free YouTube videos, and we just take a little bit of it, and maybe it's a little bit better, or maybe they get to see it first. And not everyone can afford it. That's okay, but it's a long dinner, right? And when I started 8 or 9 years ago, a lot of people had no money because they were young, or maybe they were down on their luck, or they were in their 20s. But, if I feel like I'm going to have a lifelong relationship with my internet friends.
Oh, yeah.
And at some point, people get money. They get into their late 20s or their 30s, and they've got some disposable income, and they're going on vacation. They want to learn something. You're like, oh, yeah, remember that Jared guy? I like him. Let's go see what's new. And like, oh, he's got something cool. It costs money. It must be better than the free stuff. I'm going to get that. And it's like, it's not a big deal. People spend a lot of money on a lot of different things. And, I would like to think we put out pretty high quality stuff, and we've become masters of a few. We don't know everything, but a few things we're pretty good at.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with selling it.
Sure. It's a very thank you economy, as Gary Vaynerchuk would say, that it's like you give, and then you ask. And when not everybody can afford it, but you still have plenty of free stuff. Yeah. You're not withholding stuff. You're putting it out into the world, and if they want a little bit more and they can afford it, then by all means. So let's talk about the bag, because obviously that's at about $1.7 million right now when we're recording this. How'd this all come about?
Well, I know you have a bag too, and people should go get Fro's bag first.
It's all good. I can't look. I absolutely love Peter, Peak Designs.
Yeah.
I also totally ripped on the Peak plate as a thing that I personally didn't like, but I absolutely I sent him a long email one day. I'm like, Peter, just because I don't like this personally, like I don't like this, it's not my thing. Because one, I use the Black Rapid, but whatever. And I was just like, I absolutely love what you have done in coming up with an idea, getting a prototype, kickstarting it, and then being able to do it time and time again. I absolutely love that aspect. And so, sorry.
No, I get it. I think that's interesting. I didn't know that you're so into the businessy side, but it is just a wonderful case study that a photography company can launch itself on Kickstarter and then do 4 more Kickstarters, and they all do really well. It's just it's almost unheard of, Yeah.
Well, some people will say, well, is the point of Kickstarter to start there and not come back? But I look at it as, why would you not go there? It's a great, yes, you're giving a higher percentage away to them, but you've already done it.
Yeah, they only get like 5 or 8%,
which isn't that bad.
It's not too bad. And to me, like they don't need the money anymore, right? They're doing fine. Of course, they need the money, but they don't use the money from the Kickstarter. They don't wait till the Kickstarter ends, and they're like, okay, now we got to go find a factory. Now they're to the point where they built so many different things. They have all these contacts. They buy materials, all that kind of stuff. In fact, before the Kickstarter even started, we both spent several $100,000 to begin buying the materials and begin building the bags. They're actually being built right now. We were a little scared because we thought, what if people don't like the bag? There's always that self-doubt. But we thought, they'll probably like the bag. But yeah, so they use it as a sales mechanism to get people excited about the thing. Everyone gets in it together. And also, it's a big discount during the Kickstarter period because retail, it'll be $250, but right now it's only $195. So all their previous Kickstarter people get really excited. They're like, oh yeah, Peak Design, awesome. We get to have it early. We get a discount. We get something a little extra. And so people really get excited about it. And there's not that much excitement about products anymore. And so having a vehicle that gets people excited, and you have a whole community and everyone's commenting, they do live hangouts with their Kickstarter fans, and it's just a fun community. I mean, all about community, how important it is. They didn't have one. They just kind of fed off the Kickstarter community, which I think is genius.
Well, once you have, it's one thing to do it once. Right. It's another thing to do it 5 times. And when you have the ability to do that, obviously you're doing something right. And I mean, I sat there and I just watched the page as it went to 100,000, and then it went to more and more and more. What's it feel like when you're watching that go up?
I couldn't believe it. I was in it was a really cold winter morning in New Zealand. I was out in my studio, which is even colder because we don't have as much heat in my main studio until it gets going. And then my whole family was around me, and we were watching it go up. And because I've been talking about it forever. I had to convince my wife this is a good idea. My kids have seen me go off to Vietnam several times with the Peak Design team to work on it. It's all been secret. I could never, I told them, of course, but we couldn't tell anybody else. And they're like, okay, let's go see this thing that Dad's been doing. And then we are all excited. We're all high-fiving each other, and then we're like, oh yeah, tonight we're gonna get the good pizza. It was great. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It definitely has to feel good to see that all the hard work pays off. But I'm sure you don't just sit there and be like, all right, we made it, we're successful. You're on to something else.
Yeah, we've got a few irons in the fire. I'm a pretty good secret keeper, so I won't talk about those things. But yeah, there's some good stuff coming up. And we're just into doing fun projects with fun companies and fun partners. We're not money driven in that we're doing fine financially. So we mostly make decisions based on awesome and like fun partners, or like, yeah, let's do this project together because, you know, I like you and I like what you guys are doing. Whether or not it makes money doesn't really matter. It probably will. That would be great when you put on your business hat. But this seems like a really fun way for us to spend our next 3 or 6 months together. A great experiment. Let's go for it.
Yeah, that is a great way to be. Just knowing that, you know what, I want to work on what is fun. So what I obviously, or not obviously, but what I got out of this entire thing is, you know, you weren't fully happy with what you were doing before. You get a camera, you have an idea, you start sharing it with the world, you put it out there, people start paying attention to it. Because people are paying attention to it, they look at you as the authority in the HDR world, which is the absolute truth. Everybody looks to you, and hopefully they don't screw up HDR and do it the bad way.
Yeah.
Which is over the... If anybody's wondering what a bad HDR photo... Because I have a couple of videos, I think, why I hate HDR. I don't even remember what it was from 4.5 years ago.
Right.
I was basing my judgments, or still base it off of, a lot of the really bad over-the-top processing. So if you're looking at a photo and you go, did I take it too far? If you're asking yourself if you took it too far, you probably did take it too far. But, you know, there's some stuff that I like of yours. There's some stuff of yours that I sit there and I go, does HDR work for the horse in the backyard?
Right.
You know? But it all comes down to personal preference.
Yeah.
You know, the bamboo in the forest is absolutely incredible. You know, looking at stuff like that, or looking at Times Square and the cityscapes and all of those, and even the one you put up yesterday from New York, it's just like it has your name all over it. So you've created your style, and people will like it, people will not like it, but whatever. It's your thing. And so, you know, being able to now to just, you know, you have a successful business, successful photographer, you can create for fun and turn it into a business, which is great unto itself. It's just, I mean, it's awesome.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'll repeat what I said earlier. I do not take any of it for granted. I'm very thankful. And with HDR, I go through phases. I know when most people start HDR, it is really bad. I think as a more accomplished photographer might say, and really over the top and garish. However, I've taught so many people HDR that I know when they first look at that HDR, they get so excited, even though I can see 20 little flaws and I can show them very easy corrections. They're so excited, it really gooses them. And they go out and they start shooting like crazy and they process like crazy. So to me, I almost don't want to course correct them in the beginning because they are so excited and they really get into it. And I think people that get excited about a creative process, that's wonderful. Because they're in the process of not just creating photos, but they're in the process of creating themselves. Like when you get a new hobby, you get really into it. Then you start course correcting and you say, oh, look, do you see how the sky is kind of gray, or maybe you have some blackness in those clouds on a sunny day? Does it make sense? Does it make sense to have a black part of a cloud and blue sky? They're like, oh yeah, that doesn't really make sense. And then so, you know, we dial that back a little bit, like, oh yeah, that does look better. And that's just one of many different things. But over time, they learn to mix it, and then they actually start to see the world differently. You know, they start to just notice how their eye will just move very quickly across a blue sky, but then start to look at little details. Yeah, so it's just one of many photography techniques. I know you've been hard on HDR. It doesn't bother me. That's I think one of the other key things, and I'm sure that you have haters out there too, but they're actually just ignoring them. I think ignoring people is some of our greatest skills. You know,
it's one of the hardest skills.
Yeah, it is hard. I mean, it can get to you if you want it to, but mostly, obviously, we ignore it because we keep doing what we're doing. I was watching, Penn and Teller, Gillette Penn. I love that guy. So he's like super tough guy. You would think like, oh, nothing gets to that guy. You know, he's just really independent, big tough guy, very intelligent, quite intellectual. I was watching an interview with him and Joy Behar or something, that girl from CNN. And he goes, hey, Joy, when you get like bad tweets and stuff, does it bother you? And she's like, no, it doesn't bother me at all. I just ignore it. He goes, really? She goes, yeah, just ignore it. He goes, oh, not me. Sometimes before my show, he does these nightly shows in Vegas, He goes, I look at my Twitter stream, and if someone says something bad about me, he goes, I can't get it out of my head for the whole show. It really bothers me. And so I thought, oh, well, that's nice to know that like someone like that gets bothered by bad tweets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens. It happens. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks for the invite.
You want to give people some more information where they can find everything about you?
Just, I guess, pop over to stuckincustoms.com and everything is there. That's sort of all roads lead to Rome.
Sounds good to me. Thank you very much for coming in.
All
Good
right.
luck on the tour.
Well, thank you for the invite, sir.
No problem. All right, so I'm looking forward to going out and doing the photo walk tonight, or partaking in one way or another. Maybe not the whole thing, but that was awesome. Hearing the stories about the businesses that he had before, and then
I
how he
had no
talked
idea
about how he talked about some of them failed, but it's all a learning experience, and that he picked up his first camera was a D70 and just taught himself everything.
Self-taught, fully.
And had the idea, like, I'm just going to share this with the world. And he chose Flickr, kind of similar to how I chose YouTube as my place to blow up. He chose Flickr because that was a sharing site, and he tagged everything, and people would find it. And then he allowed everybody to use it.
I liked what he said about tags, too, really thinking about synonyms for certain words and
that
stuff
people
like that.
would search. And well, how about hearing about doing the fine art stuff?
Yeah.
$75,000 to $90,000 a print, and people are buying these things. It's the art world.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you get into the art world. They start
Unlimited money.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It is.
And I don't think that it's bad at all what he's doing. That's what you do. Because people will sit there and be like, "Oh, you're a sellout." No, not really. That's called success.
And he also has some amazing landscape work.
Yeah, there's some really nice stuff.
Well, and I like what he was also saying about HDR, how he merges the original raw file and almost dodges and burns or like paints certain areas away and fills it in a little bit. I love that.
Like we were talking about at lunch, is that he keeps getting better.
Yeah.
Where he started to edit. And he talked about this too, as like when you first start editing, he doesn't want to correct people too early because he doesn't want to piss them off. And people will come around to seeing that their early edits sucked, in essence.
I feel like as any photographer comes around and realizes their early edits usually suck.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that, you go back to my early raw files, the same thing. And you go back and you get better. But that's cool.
That's why you keep the raw file. So you can tweak it later.
And you don't shoot JPEG.
Yep.
There is still no excuse for shooting JPEG. But I need to shoot sports. Okay.
I need to get them out fast.
Okay.
Martha, I'm out shooting a JPEG.
So, big thank you to Trey for coming in, sitting with us. Check out Stuck in Customs, or what it was, tour.treyratcliff.com or something along those lines.
And then he ended with just Stuck in Customs.
Right. You can go to Stuck in Customs. You can find all the information on where he's touring, so that if you want to go and partake in one of those free photo walks and maybe win some prizes, you can go ahead and do that. So let's get to Gear of the Week.
Yes.
This week, we have the Master Clock.
The Master Clock.
It is up there, and it's scrolling with Frono's Photo RAWtalk, and it's unbelievable. I love it, man.
It's really nice.
I chose the color.
Huge.
Well, I chose the color,
You chose the Christmas colors. Good choice.
To me, the main time is always red.
From a Jewish person.
What?
No,
that has nothing to do. I chose green because I
ironic.
didn't like the yellow, and I didn't want it to be the blue because I think the green is better. So then when I chose it, that's what I chose.
Well, and the red obviously matches the logo and that kind of stuff.
So Master Clock, we went to their booth. They had my favorite booth at CES.
Yeah.
They had all these clocks because they're the masters of clock.
They are.
They sent us the countdown timer thing, which we still have to figure out how to use.
Yeah.
But once that's working, it can count down, and it's really cool.
It's a great clock. It just really takes some setting up to do. Now, also, it's only Windows compatible, their software.
Yeah.
So we need to set this up at my house
Because
we
you
have
have
all
a
Macs
PC.
here.
Yeah. And so for anybody that wants to know about Master Clock, go to their website. You'll find out that they are the official clock and timepieces of NASA and SpaceX, and you need to be a scientist to set one up.
You really kind of do.
You guys got it set up, thankfully.
Yeah.
Now we got to
Took a
figure
while.
out the next setup. But we wanted one of these, so they hooked us up with a Master Clock. I don't know where it's going to end up finally, but this is where it's at currently. And I love the size of it, and it's a real deal freaking clock. Like, you know what I could do? I could go down. We could go to like, was it down in West Philadelphia? Is that where it was?
Yeah.
We can go down to West Philadelphia, down to one of those basketball courts on the street. We can bring a battery battery power, plug this in, bring the timer, and start keeping time when those guys are playing basketball.
Can I just be like Flavor Flav and rock a big chain and just wear it right here? I want to do that.
What does that have to do with West Philadelphia?
You guys realize
just
I live
talking
in
about
West
the clock.
Philadelphia, so you'd probably be playing with hipsters.
Hey, wait, can we come to West Philadelphia and play in the park?
Sure.
Todd lives in West Philadelphia.
Yeah, why not?
Todd does live in West Philly. He was a prospector 10 years ago.
I was.
And now it's paying off.
And my daughter was West Philadelphia, born and raised.
Does she whip her hair back and forth?
No. She does watch me whip and watch me nay-nay, though.
Yeah. Guess what time it is? That's Gear of the Week. It's time to get ready for the Wheel of Fro. While Joe attempts to get the Wheel of Fro set properly and set the other camera up that we now have, we're going to get and talk about the Wheel of Fro. Here it is. The Wheel of Fro. Last week it landed on the Grand... It's still there, actually.
It is still there.
That's where it landed last
That's how
week.
often we use it.
It landed on the grand prize, and by the way, the guy was. I talked to him, and he's looking. He was been looking for a way to get into video.
Looking how to sell it
Oh.
on eBay?
No, not how to sell it. I already spoke to Atomos. They are sending him the prize, and he was
Amazing.
really happy. And let's talk about the wheel right now.
Wait, first of all, what are we going to switch that out with? Are we just going to do
I'm
another
going to
Atomos?
talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
Oh, it's a secret. It's
I
a
usually
secret.
don't, as usual, I don't know about any of this.
Well, I don't know. I'll tell you in a minute.
okay,
Just
okay.
Give me a
I'll
minute.
find out when everyone else finds out.
Jesus,
Gosh.
Obama.
Dang it.
Thanks, Obama.
All right. Atoramapix.com. You can get some prints done there. We've got the Fro prize.
Can I get a bag?
You may not get a bag. Think Tank, you can get a bag if you land on Think Tank.
Can I get the Fro bag?
No. I'm not giving you a Fro
mother
bag.
trucker.
No, you cannot have one. Maybe somebody else can if they get the grand prize. We've got Think Tank. We got audioblocks.com/go/Fro. Todd, did your daughter ever do the Lexar thing?
I told her about it, and then she thought that was funny.
Was
she said
busy?
she would do it.
She's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to whip, and nay.
Well, she can't do it now because she's doing a Build-A-Bear commercial.
Is she in a Build-A-Bear
Man.
commercial? Is that company still in business?
Yeah,
Does
apparently so.
she get paid for that?
Oh, yeah.
In Benjamins?
No.
But is it so? How does it happen? How does she get?
Her agency submitted her headshots, and they liked them, and then she went into audition, and she gets a call back to meet with the director, and then they said you're in, and then she has a wardrobe fitting, and then she's got the shoot.
That's cool. Is it a photo shoot or a video shoot?
It's a commercial. It's
So
a video commercial.
Are you going to be
for
there on
holiday.
set, being like, "Are you guys kidding me?"
I don't think I'll be there. I'm hoping my wife's going to take her, but I've gone. I hate to sit there because then I judge everybody.
That's what I was going to say.
I silently
judge
judge
him.
everybody. Yeah.
All right, next up on the wheel, being that Todd's daughter hasn't done the bubble letters, is
Too
Lexar.
busy for you.
Ah.
Lexar, the official card of Frono's Photo RAWtalk, but drum
what?
roll, please.
Oh.
Oh, my.
Oh my lord.
After weeks and weeks of having this handwritten sign, no more.
Look at
We've got the nice
Look
Lexar
at that
logo.
I'm failing.
And it's probably too big, isn't it? I remember my first time
That's amazing.
putting something on the wheel.
That is amazing.
Look at that.
Wow.
I like how it's centered. Looks
That's
good.
incredible.
There we go.
Manual labor isn't Jared's forte.
I got it. Yeah, do you know what my dad used to say? He would
Wait,
look
but what
up
about the other
manual
one?
labor in the yellow pages.
Where's
We're not
that?
up to the other one yet.
Oh my goodness, we're yelling again.
Lightroom. You win Lightroom, damn it. You get a room with some freaking light. Rode microphone. You get an awesome microphone. And if you entered that My Road Reel competition,
Get a
you
shirt?
may be getting a microphone in the mail and
And a super secret microphone.
Well, super secret microphone and a shirt.
Super secret
I
microphone.
hope they know what size shirt you ordered.
Yeah.
Question mark? Anything on the wheel but the grand prize?
Can I get a bag?
No.
Wait for it.
BorrowLenses.com, $250 in credit. Fro prize, squarespace.com/go/Fro.
No.
Shit.
No.
It's squarespace.com/Fro to get your 14-day free trial. I love using Squarespace. Please go check it out to get your 14-day free trial because I think you're going to love it and use it and
I
love it.
need to do a Squarespace. I think for my daughter. I bought the domain name.
What? whipandnene.com?
That as
Oh,
well as her
perfect.
name and just for her modeling stuff. So maybe I should look into Squarespace.
Cimarelli?
Oh,
no,
God.
absolutely not.
Definitely not.
No.
Videoblocks.com/go/Fro. Videoblocks has been gracious enough to have us at their offices. We have a nice long-term partnership going because we're supportive of them, they're supportive of us, and we use a shit ton of their footage and
almost every video now.
I pulled I'm telling you something. We just wrapped up. I pulled a ton from Video Blocks. Uh oh.
Oh my gosh. It's been on there so long that it's infused on the wheel.
What'd you do?
That's how long.
What the hell happened?
It's
Just
too
put
sticky.
it over top of it.
It's too sticky.
What the hell?
Wow.
It's sticky.
It's literally infused to the wheel.
Maybe it was in the sun.
When you leave it up there for 8 weeks without replacing it.
All the other ones are up there.
then they're never coming down.
What the hell? What happened?
Get it together. There we go.
Well, that looks really
wow.
By the way, I ordered those from Adorama Picks.
Yeah.
And they look awesome.
Along with all the other logos too, right on the wheel?
Black Rapid. Get your strap on. Get a Rode microphone,
Can
and
I get an I Shoot Raw strap?
no, spin again, and then the grand prize. Here's what I was thinking.
What?
I'm thinking a free year of Audio Blocks, Video Blocks, graphic stock. I'm thinking some Adorama Picks credit.
Wow.
So like everything.
I'm thinking like
And a
everything
bag,
on the wheel
and one of your bags.
for right now until
And
we
your
come up
bag.
with like a major prize.
and your bag and strap.
And your bag as well?
No. So this week,
So it's like a grand
it's going to be a
prize.
grand prize
That's a
pretty
big
cool.
deal.
because I think
That
we
is.
could give them everything that's on the wheel for now until I come up with a better solution.
That's
No, that's cool.
amazing.
Now let's see if this comes off the wheel. When I go to spin
So
it, I'm
it's
going to
kind
take
of
it
like
off
a question
the wheel.
mark, but you literally get everything.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
Why don't we do that? That
you
sounds
get everything?
that sounds about good. Yeah.
Now, what are we
everything.
going to actually put on? Because we can't put every single logo on that strip.
What
No.
about the video guides? You don't give it the video
I
guides
give those
on
away.
the
Those are
board?
fro prizes,
Well,
Todd.
the fro prizes. See, if you would watch the show,
Oh.
you would know.
What show?
See, that came off.
You shouldn't have been eating Kentucky Fried Chicken when you put up the other one.
Ha ha ha.
The grease.
Ha ha ha. All right, guess what time it is, Todd?
Kentucky Fried Chicken time.
No, it's spin that wheel time.
Oh, okay. Spin that wheel. Oh. Come on, Vanna.
Around and round it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows. The Wheel of Fro's going to stop on Obama.
It better not, Martha. If it's me spins on Obama.
Lightroom!
Almost the new Lexar.
Congratulations to this week's winner. I went ahead with Nathaniel Dodson.
That name sounds familiar.
He got a win.
Nice.
Lightroom for him.
Now, is it Lightroom like a standalone or?
It's the Creative Cloud
So you get
Lightroom.
Photoshop and Lightroom.
Yes.
And
That
it
one.
was
The bundle.
for a year, a bundle for a
Yeah.
year or something like that.
And
Yeah.
you get the Behance account too.
What the fuck is Behance, man?
I've never personally used it, but people use it.
What's Behance?
Don't really know.
Sounds painful.
I think it's like a portfolio site or something like that.
Martha, I got bees on my hands. I got bees on my hands.
Oh god.
I'm ready to go.
You can have a medial collateral confarction.
What?
Medial collateral infarction. That's called a heart attack.
A heart attack?
Heart attack in my eyes. All right, so congratulations. Thank you to everybody on the wheel for supporting us and putting all that stuff in there. Lexar is the official card of RAWtalk.
They are.
I'm glad we have the SD cards in there. We have the micro SD cards up there. And
got the
Todd's got one.
C-Fast
Todd's
and
got
the
one.
XC10.
Oh, yeah, I got another XC10 for Borrow Lenses.
Yeah.
Just sent that in so I can take it to Vegas.
They
Because
actually
I'm,
they
Nice.
send them out with Lexar cards, don't they?
yeah.
Cool.
I'm going to Vegas to Kelby's, what's it called? Photoshop World?
Yes.
And hookers.
There won't be any hookers. I mean, maybe. I don't know. There could be. You never
Probably.
know.
Well,
Never?
there is,
Yeah, yeah.
but will you be going
Oh,
to
no, I
them?
won't be going to hookers. I don't need
That's what you
hookers.
say now.
I got Tinder. I don't need hookers.
I don't Tinder in Vegas. I'm there. No, I'm not there to hook up with anybody.
We've Tindered in Vegas before, haven't we?
what?
No, that
now
was-
it all comes out.
In Poland, we Tindered really hard.
We were just swiping away.
Tinder- I
well, 'cause
Tindered her
every
so
girl in
hard.
Poland was unbelievably gorgeous.
Oh my god, they really were.
It was like
Everyone.
model,
Supermodel.
model.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going out to Vegas to that. That was a last minute decision. I'm going to go hang
What's
out
in
with
Vegas?
Photoshop world.
Oh.
So I'm going to go schmooze and talk, put myself into a situation. I don't know what's going to happen.
Kiss
Don't
ass.
know if I'll like it. Don't know if I won't. If I'll enjoy it. Who knows? I'm just going because you have to put yourself into a certain situation. Hopefully, I don't know what I'm going for, but I'm going.
I'm waiting for text while he's out there. I don't even know why I came out here. Worst trip I ever took in my life. Such
That'll
a
be the
waste
first
of
night.
time.
I think I did it just to get first class if I can get upgraded.
Oh, look at you.
I don't know. Maybe I'll get upgraded because they were like...
It's a long flight from here.
It's 6... Yeah, I'm taking a red eye back so we can get the next RAWtalk.
Yeah.
I'm taking a red eye at 12:30 a.m.
Oh, good. You'll be super fun then.
Can't wait.
Can't wait for you to
Yeah.
be
I get home at
chipper.
8:30 and then you guys come in and we're going to RAWtalk.
Oh, yeah.
I won't be here, Steven. Good luck with that.
All right, so big thank you to Trey Ratcliff for coming in and
Huge,
helping us
yeah.
out and sitting here with the interview. I think it was fantastic. Thank you, Steven.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Todd's new beard.
You're welcome.
Joe, I hope you didn't screw up.
Joe, I will squarely punch you in the junk.
Like squarely.
Squarely.
I will square up to his junk and punch it.
Hi-ya.
Martha, there's a boy punching people in the junk out here.
And don't forget, you can get all the photo news and more each and every episode at RAWtalk. Well, for this episode, fronosphoto.com/RAWtalk-145. Please subscribe. Remember that new shows come out every Monday as audio and as video. We love to show you our show.
Ooh.
Hopefully you like to watch our show.
Hey.
I like it when you watch me.
If you've gotten this far, we need to do like a hashtag, like let us know. Leave a special comment that says hashtag got this far.
Oh, I like that.
And just so that we know that you actually got this far.
Give me a special one. Hashtag Todd Love.
Todd Love. Not Tove Love, Todd Love.
Toad
And go
Love
from
is a
there.
different episode.
Yeah. All right. So that's it. Why don't we wrap it up?
Let's do it.
We're going to wrap it up as Joe walks around
Like
weirdly.
Bigfoot. Shaking the cameras everywhere.
All right, here we go. That's it. Thank you guys for watching. Jared Polin, FronosPhoto.com. See you.